What's poppin', Taurus gang? We are back with your April reading, and I am so excited to be here. You know, as a fellow Taurus, I was so excited to do our reading this month. I don't know why. Maybe all good things are coming to us. Who knows? It's our birthday coming up soon, so maybe that's why I'm excited. But I'm here. I'm ready. So let's get started. I've already shuffled. I've already cut the deck. Bottom of the deck, we have Seven of Cups. So, as you can see, the Seven of Cups, it represents having a lot of different choices. It represents having a lot of options, and sometimes too many options, which can cause confusion. So, some of us could be struggling with, having to choose certain things, having to choose love, career, family, having to choose all of those things and figuring out a way how to do that. For some of us, maybe we're making decisions about more important things. I feel like some Tauruses might be, I feel like some of us might be really struggling with our housing situation. I don't know why I feel that way. I feel like maybe some of us have been contemplating maybe selling a home or maybe keeping a home. I don't know, maybe that's just a very select few of us. But again, having a lot of choices. Sometimes the best choice is no choice. Sometimes the best choice is to be still and to wait for there to be a better option instead of picking, okay, this sounds good for now. This sounds good for long distance. This sounds good, period. This sounds like this is in alignment versus something that could be fleeting or a decision we're making under pressure that isn't well thought out. So that's what's popping on the bottom of the deck. First card out, we're going to do, of course, a 5-card spread, a message from Spirit, and then a card for every element. So, message from Spirit. Ooh, child, 9 of Swords. And it's funny because I saw this one before I even shuffled the deck. This one was kind of chilling on the top. Next card out in the position of Earth. Plot, we hit the 5 of Swords. What did we do? I was really excited. I don't understand. Okay, 3 of Coins in the emotional space, in the water position. For air, Lord, we got the Magician. Hunty, what are my fellow Taurus up to? I thought we was finna see bunnies and rainbows, and instead, we got fuckboys and cages and swords. Position of fire, the world. Okay. Taurus, damn. I guess we'll just hop right on in. So, message from Spirit, 9 of Swords. So, as you can see, now listen, I'm going to preface this reading by saying no Game of Thrones slander will be tolerated here unless it is about how trash Season 8 was. Yes, this is a Game of Thrones tarot deck. Okay? Anyway, so if you've ever seen Game of Thrones, you know this scene, this is the scene where they basically have the Red Wedding. And this is a dog that, this is the dire wolf that is tied up in the back, can't do shit, can't say shit, can't help, can't do shit, just locked up, right? So this was a hard scene, which translates to life. This is a hard scene that some of us may be dealing with. Some of us really, could feel like we're, especially with the 7 of Cups on the bottom of the deck, maybe we feel trapped into making some sort of decision right now. Maybe some of us are in positions where there has to be something done, but what we should do isn't exactly clear. This 9 of Swords typically also represents, this could represent psychological turmoil, dealing with childhood trauma. This could represent a lot of like night terrors, insomnia, trouble sleeping, This could also be a lot of self created fear, a lot of us stirring our own pot and not for the good. So keep this in mind. Um, we're going to start there. Sometimes we really create a lot of fear for ourselves on accident. Sometimes we speak things into existence, and sometimes we are reckless with, our thoughts, reckless with how we speak. We're reckless, with how we're living, which can translate into fear because we know we've been fucking up, and what the consequences of that is has yet to be discovered. So it leaves a lot of room for fear, for doubt. Um, Taurus, it's all good. This is something that's basically saying, yes, you need to pay attention to the danger. You need to pay attention to the disastrous patterns that a lot of childhood trauma can create, a lot of sexual trauma, a lot of abandonment, abuse. A lot of those things create residual fear. They create patterns in which, if you have abandonment issues, you most likely have a clingy personality type, or you're the exact opposite and you do not get down with people, period. Sorry, my nose itches so bad. Maybe for some of you, you guys have been having a hard time sleeping. For some of us, maybe, especially with this change in, it's quarantine shit. I know a lot of people's sleep schedules have been thrown off. A lot of people just sleeping all day, partying all night. A lot of people also could be experiencing a lot of fear during this time because of this coronavirus shit. A lot of people could be experiencing and having a lot of anxiety because everything is so uncertain. Everything is so brand new. We're having to get used to new ways of shopping, new ways of, basically existing in public, existing with our families, and being concerned, hyper aware of our surroundings and who's too close, and you're not 6 feet, because I know I'm aware. You're too close, back up. It's a time where people are walking around wearing masks. Like, literally, it's a time where people, are wearing gloves, and connection and contact is being discouraged. So it's a crazy time for a lot of people, Taurus. So I don't blame you for feeling away. I also think that some of us could possibly in real time be experiencing, again, residual energy from a lot of childhood shit, a lot of residual energy, good and bad, from, a lot of psychological, again, struggle and abuse, and all kinds of words come up there. But I feel like a lot of it is just us processing and dealing with, and not necessarily in a negative way. I feel like a lot of us are just it's being brought to our attention that there's still a lot to be worked on, and maybe some of it has been presenting itself to us real time now, here in the present, and creator said it's okay, it's cool. Pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to the ways, like, pay attention to the energies that you pick up on, how they make you feel, and then also pay attention to what stimulates those feelings so that you can kind of get a hold of what your triggers are. Next card out, you have the Five of Swords. This is a fucked up scene too. So this is basically a scene where, if you know anything about this show, this is pretty much where, Winterfell gets fucked. This is where Winterfell, basically, they are betrayed, and Winterfell is a whole town, y'all. So this whole town gets betrayed by somebody who's supposed to be a family friend, and now all hell has broken loose. The little prince boy ain't the prince no more. It's a lot. So basically, this is, again, it's a really hard turning point in the story too. It's a catalyst. So this is basically saying that there's something going on in the physical, some sort of conflict that has been a real turning point for a lot of Taurus. Again, this could be with your job. This could be with family. This could be internally with self, having to, again, process a lot of those, 9 swords. This could be addressing the anxiety that we're feeling, addressing a lot of things that are going on. For some reason, I feel like some Tauruses are really struggling with self-worth, self-doubt, struggling with their positioning in the world right now. And I feel like some of that is internal, but some of it is extremely stimulated by external factors. So with that said, Taurus, your position is whatever you decide it is. You can't let somebody sun you and tell you who you are. You have to be, excuse me, you have to be so sure about who you are that when you receive a compliment, you take it the same way as you receive criticism. There is no difference. You don't get to tell me I look good today. I look good every day. You don't get to tell me I ain't shit. I'm everything and more. Like, you don't get to fix and flex anything over here, right? You have to be so sure in who you are that the good doesn't gas you up and the bad doesn't tear you down. Bran is the boy's name who ends up being betrayed. He ends up going from this Prince of Winterfell to this like ascended master guru type shit. Sometimes being played out of a position that seems to be like the peak, the pinnacle, maybe you're the boss, maybe you're the owner, CEO, whatever, getting played out of that position, getting forced out, doesn't always have to result in a failure. Sometimes that is a catalyst to becoming bigger and better and even more respectable and honorable. Yep, those are the words I wanted to use. In a whole different realm. Sometimes you have to lose in order to win. So keep this in mind with this conflict, whatever this is in the physical. Keep going, Taurus. Keep going. Whatever this is, just keep going and know for sure who you are. In the space of water, you've got the 3 of coins. So this was an interesting part in this story. This is basically a card that represents the dangers of being too friendly and the dangers of collaborating with the wrong people. You can build an empire. You really can. The downfall of that empire will be you and how you trust. The downfall of the empire will be who you let in and who they truly are. Who you see versus who they are behind your back, and how you navigate those things and how quickly you can assess those 2 different pieces of people. If you can tell that a person is who they say that they are through and through, that's valuable to the kingdom. But if you're only taking people for face value and you're just trusting everything that motherfuckers want to tell you, you're really doing yourself and the rest of the empire and the kingdom a disservice, because you are putting everyone at risk. You have to remember that when collaborating to build something, you cannot rely on people who don't have a solid foundation within themselves. You cannot create something solid and something stable with flaky, shaky ass people. This is really coming up for you in the emotional space, because I feel like a lot of Tauruses are ready to rebuild, especially emotionally. I feel like a lot of Taurus are ready to collaborate, be it with a partner, be it with, it could be work, it could be family. Some of us are ready, excuse me, to be promoted or join a new team, in the workforce, or, reconnect with a long lost family member or something of the sort. This could also be wanting to get married, have kids, build a family, do all the things that require collaboration, that require a joint effort, an equal effort from all the parties involved. Be mindful of who you're building with. I think emotionally you're picking up on that. I think you are vibrating with, you know, trying to get clear about, okay, what I'm building has to align with who I build it with, or it's all going to fail. That is true. So just be mindful. If you feel it, there's a reason why that current is flowing through you right now. There's a reason why that 3 energy has you really considering your connections and your bonds, okay? The next card out in the space of air, you have an extreme fuckboy. I low-key don't like that they used him for this card, the magician. If you've not seen the show, just ignore. He's the magician. Everything's the same. If you have seen the show, he is a fuckboy, and you know why. And the fact that they put Peter Fuckboy Baelish on the magician card is like, it really brings out that darker side of that magician energy. This is a person who is really able to create illusions. This is a person who is really able to play every single side and has every tool to play every person on the board. So this is basically telling me a few things. As far as our energy goes, because I like to believe that Taurus are pure-hearted and we're not manipulative assholes, some of this is basically saying we need to think about the ways in which we can manipulate our surroundings and our peers and those people that we're collaborating with in order to essentially gain access to our fallen kingdom, essentially to get back all of the things we feel we've lost. Now, I do know that Taurus, we are smart, which makes us capable of manipulation. Not that we are manipulators, but we are well capable. And so with that said, the magician energy is basically saying we've been kind of thinking and plotting and planning a way to get what we want in a way that isn't necessarily, I hate to do us like this, Taurus. We've been having some fuckboy energy, fuckgirl energy around how we get what we want. We've really been like, I will plot, plan, and scheme to get whatever it is that I want. So just be mindful. Just be cautious about how you're moving and how you're getting what you want, and be cautious about how other people are using you as a pawn to get what they want. Don't let people just punk you around and, you know, essentially sweet talk in your ear to get you into a weaker, less attentive position. And also, don't go around using your many skills and tools and talents, Taurus, to be out here acquiring goods, acquiring things and people and relationships that are not in alignment or that are not healthy for the other person or that are one-sided. It's not going to work out for your highest good. He dies a horrible death, a well-deserved death. And so I just want y'all to know that if you decide to invest your energy in attaining things in a way that isn't necessarily above board, you will pay the consequence for that, Taurus. So stop thinking about whatever it is you're thinking about in a way that is manipulative, and really think about, okay, what are the actual tools that I have and how can I use them in a way that makes sense, in a way that is appropriate for that tool without just fucking people over. You don't want to take a whole sledgehammer to hammer in a small nail, okay? Because you're just going to end up busting your thumb, busting a hole in the wall. It's not what you need in your life, okay? So with that said, that's what we've been thinking about. Hopefully in all of the best ways. Like I said, I have a lot of faith in us, Taurus. Last card out, in the space of fire, we have the world. So this is a map that basically is, so this is a long ass series, Game of Thrones. If you've watched it, you know. If you haven't, you should know. It has been years in the making, and it all takes place in this little chunk. I mean, they go from here to there to everywhere, but it's all in this little chunk, right? That is the world to them. They know what is known as the wall, and then they know what is south, and they know what is north. Okay, they know very, little about their actual world around them. So it's like, with that said, what aid are we experiencing in the world right now? The influences that we're taking in that could be having us in a space where we're being challenged to deal with our childhood issues and our psychological turmoils. That's the word that just keeps coming up. So that's the word we're just going to keep using. How are we looking at our nightmares? How are we handling insomnia? How are we handling anxiety? What is stimulating insomnia, anxiety, self-defeating thoughts? What is stimulating us to remember and to tap into our childhood and to the abuse that we may or may not have experienced from childhood up until now, or even in past lives, right? There is a character that goes around to all of these different kingdoms and essentially wants people to live freely, as free as possible. She makes it her mission to basically break chains, is what her whole storyline is about. So this is basically saying, what are the chains that the world offers to us that keeps us in a space where we are so, again, hyper aware of the things that torment all of us, that keep us stagnant, and that make us relive unhealed events and experiences. The world is also a card of endings and beginnings. So maybe for some of us, as we are considering how we collaborate, how we grow things, and with whom, we are taking in a lot of influence from, okay, well, I know I don't want that. I've already ended a situation that was like that, and I'm ready to jump into a new situation that it looks more like this. For some of us, there's just a karmic cycle right now going around that has us looking at some of these things, and some of these things are directly tied into our karma, which is why I said, like, maybe this could be past life shit that's coming up and we're just trolley law unaware, and it's time for us to be more accountable to our healing and our experiences. Taurus, with all of that said, I really came in here thinking I was about to give us the happiest reading ever. It wasn't terrible, but it was not kittens and rainbows. Y'all don't know how bad I want to pull another card just to be like, are you sure? Are you sure? Five of Swords. We're going to. I don't know, clarify the Five of Swords. I mean, Ten of Coins. So maybe some of us is broke. Maybe some of us are worried about money. Maybe that's why some of us are having so much trouble in the physical. Maybe some of us, that's why we're losing our kingdom. Maybe that's why we need to think about collaborating, and we're worried about who we're collaborating with, because it is so important. It is our families. It is our livelihoods. It is our homes. It is everything that we can see, touch, and feel. So that makes a little bit more sense, especially, I mean, not every Taurus is in the same place as far as feeling kittens and rainbows. Some of us are shitting bricks and having financial fear and worry. Me, I'm always broke, so I'm chilling. But yeah, anyway, y'all, I love you, Taurus. I really do hope that with whatever options and choices and confusions that you're making, and whatever is keeping you up at night, that you find something that's able to kind of balance that out. You're able to use the tools that the magician carries in order to kind of help you with this cycle of karma and this cycle of, endings and beginnings. With all of that said, let me know down in the comments below if it resonated, if it didn't, and you were expecting butterflies and rainbows too. Our birthday is coming up. We deserve it. Let me know too if you guys want a different deck, if you guys want a different spread, if you never want to see Game of Thrones tarot cards again, if you want to see them every single time. Let me know down below. I love you all, and I will see you next month. Our birthday month is lit.